Lemon Amiga presents a Playguide video review. Sit back and enjoy the show.
Hey there, welcome to another Lemon Amiga Play Guide and Review. This time we'll be checking out Duke Nukem 3D. This was designed and published by RTG Software, now 3D Realms, in 1996. There are various utilities out there on the Animet which patch this game and make it playable on the Amiga, and several 040 or 60 variants do exist. On this particular patch, all we need to do is reduce the brightness down, and then it makes the game playable, and then we can change the screen resolution. I'll be using an RTG PPC setup for this one, but you can play this game using an 040 or an 060. Let's change it to the highest screen resolution so that we can test this game out, just to show you what it can look like on a game which is huge screen setup and massive RTG.
Yeah, piece of cake. Damn, those alien bastards are gonna pay for shooting up my ride.
The game loads and plays fine in full screen. You can see everything is here in high detail, but it's not very smooth. So even with this PPC setup, it is possible to have a huge screen display, but unfortunately not smooth. So you have to make sure that is a screen which is square, otherwise the instrument on the bottom of the screen will get cut off. And so let's change it to 800 by 600 for the rest of this review. I'm also going to change a number of options. First of all, I'm going to reduce the mouse sensitivity just a little bit, and we can also remap the controls as well. So we have a mouse wheel. Let's change that so that it changes our weapon to the previous one, and then the rolling it down changes it to the next one. We can then remap a double click as well, and we can select from all of these options. We can open doors, we can check out various different things, we can enable different things, but all I'm going to do is use it to switch on that map. Having changed all of our controller options, now we can see that yes, you can connect this with a modem to another player, and the sound unfortunately isn't amazing on this AHI setup that I've got at the moment. You can see all of the things. I'm going to leave those on default, and we're actually going to start that game. You can see everything's now running smoother in 800 times 600, and you can see that hopefully now when the action is packed, this game engine now will be able to handle it. This is only the second time I've ever played this game in my life, and the very first time I only got onto the second level. So this is the second time of trying this, and you can see that we can jump onto higher levels, and I've just noticed that door there. Maybe it's even possible to jump over and investigate that door. Let's see if that is possible.
Groovy.
And for that we gain an RPG, so that'll definitely help us. And if we fall off any high buildings, of course we'll take damage. You can see the health is listed in the bottom left corner.
Oh God.
The screen mode also depends on if things will work or not, and in this screen mode the fire does work if you leave it hanging around on the screen for long enough. And so you can see bonus items up there that we could have collected. But for now, let's move on to the second half of this first level. So I have played this before, and it's very creepy with all these sound effects. For this playthrough I've chosen the easiest difficulty level because surprisingly enough I died rapidly on the other time that I played it. And this building will shake itself into the ground eventually as we carry on playing the game. Like most of these first-person shooters, it's vital to leave the health until you need it. We have full health, so I can't remember what I'm doing at the moment. I'm following the noises of those animals, and I can't actually find where they are. So instead, let's take a trip up the steps into the projector room.
Come get some.
In here we can also change the cinema so that it projects a nice effect of a woman undressing, and yes, there are some close to the knuckle kind of adult features in this game. Not particularly anything which requires an R rating, but definitely one or two bits that are more adult than others. So the sense of humour definitely shines through, and as you're playing this you'll be fighting and the action will be packed, but also you'll find a few touches as well. So let's see, we can get some ammo. Let's get some ammo. We can even switch the lights on and off as well. And so where are we going from here? Let's switch on the map, and it looks like this arcade is definitely the way to go, because that's the only way that we haven't gone so far. We can now blow everything up in the arcade. Unfortunately we can't play any pinball, but we can see Duke Nukem Part 2.
Don't have time to play with myself. Don't have time to play with myself.
We now have a hollow Duke, and that means, just like Total Recall, we have a virtual guy that will run out in front of us and take damage from the enemies. I don't really want to go down there. Let's investigate this door, and as we approach, so there are scare tactics in the game where things will leap out at us, and luckily the level design at this point is fairly linear. Now reached the end of level 1, so I think this is all we need to do is to bash our way through to that exit. We'll be playing through the first 3 levels, or at least we'll be getting to see the first 3 levels in this review. Level 2 is difficult, and you will find flying enemies as well in this section, and those are pretty difficult. So I'm going to anticipate those enemies and get rid of that RPG, and then I can blast those out of the sky.
Ooh, I needed that. Groovy.
It's a very satisfying effect with all that blood flying around, and definitely in this game you'll have to watch out for things that you can climb on top of, and that usually reveals a hidden area. This is the first time I've ever seen this bit. Let's see what it is. And some health never goes amiss, and look at that, some armour, and definitely it was worth climbing up there for that armour. You can see the 3D blood has attached itself to the walls. And it looks like we need a blue access card to get any further with the level. Luckily we can run, so let's run all the way back and check out this side door that we didn't go through earlier on. That leads us through to a magazine store, and maybe we can find some extra special magazines hidden in the back. For now I'm just stalking my way around because I can hear an enemy.
Come get some.
And now we go behind the scenes and you can see the lighting effects will change to absolute pitch darkness, which means all we can do is put the map on to see where we actually are. We'll have to watch out for things attacking us whilst we've got the map on. This sub-chamber just looks like a bonus area, so let's leave, and now let's use the elevator, and we can now explore the upper levels. This nail gun is one of my favourite guns in the game. It's fast and it's fluid. Let's see what this does. It's a switch or a button. Let's press that and Duke Nukem Must Die appears. And exploring these we can find some extra health and also the blue access card that we needed in the first place. So we've now got that. Hopefully we can now leave, and it's always worth double checking because look at that, things killing us straight away. Sometimes things can murder us and there can be traps laid in various sections. So let's get back to that magazine shop. We've managed to find the lavatories and the washroom facilities, so that just means another joke.
Much better.
And I needed that. Reminds me of the Groovy Ghoulies. Anybody who remembers the Groovy Ghoulies? The Frankenstein character said, I needed that. And that's going back in time. And right at the moment I have no idea where I'm going, but I've got the blue card, so let's use that to our advantage. Let's run back and let's see what that uncovers. Uncovers another puzzle. Now we can blow up that building, and that reveals something else. Let's see, I can see some ammo there. I can also see a gap, so maybe that contains something. Luckily this guy's got a fairly high jump, which means we can get to places without fearing that we're not actually going to make it, and that's pretty handy. And this guy can jump some gaps as well. We can also collect ammo and also health as well. You can see the health in the inventory. We can then use that as we go around the game, and it's important to store health and use it later on. We've now got another access card.
Groovy.
We can even use the ventilation system just like James Bond. So here we go, this is James Bond. We can even look in the mirrors. Maybe we can make a telephone call using those telephones. And look at that, we've even managed to find ourselves a pool hall. So what can we do in the pool hall? Well, we can play pool. And we've just potted the white. And the talent here at the Crucible has really gone downhill recently. Maybe if we get those in all the pockets, that will reveal another secret. And this game is full of secrets. Absolutely is. So usually those things can be used. So let's move on now to check out the bar. And the bar is a trap, and I've been killed in this section before, so that's why I'm taking it easy. In the bar we'll also find a number of comedy moments. One of those is the television screen which shows O.J. Simpson, and this game was released in 1991.
Shake it, baby.
And we can even give the cash to the woman, although she won't dance, I don't think, on the Amiga version.
Who wants some?
Exploring every single area, it took me forever to find the red access card, but there it is. And so sometimes you can be playing these games forever. And as we approach the nightclub, you'll also hear the music getting louder as well.
Come get some.
In the nightclub there are tons of enemies and also strobe lighting as well, so that's an epilepsy warning. And we'll find some new enemies hidden away in that nightclub. In here we will find some scantily clad ladies performing on the stage. And a few more collectibles as well. And now we just have to wander around to find out where we're supposed to go from here. Duke Nukem 3D was released in 1996, and it was one of the games that came out on the PC that many PC users touted as being the future, and it wasn't actually possible to run on the Amiga. Well, it was if you get the game and then get a suitable game engine to run it with, of which, as I say, there are at least 3 or 4 different ones, maybe more than that, on the Amiga, just like Doom. So if you have the original game, you can patch it to run on anything above an 040. And that should mean that it runs, and you can see with the PPC it runs smoothly. And if you lower the screen ratio to an 060, it will run just as smoothly. And maybe with an 040, maybe 600 times 800, I'm not quite sure whether that'll be smooth or not. You can see we've managed to find a vent in the wall, and that's absolutely critical because that leads us on to the next part of the game. And the rat's in there, which is another comedy touch. Then you'll be stuck in that nightclub forever. So just like Alien Breed 3D2 that we saw, this game does require some hefty performance upgrades to experience it at its fullest. But it was not impossible to play, just like Doom and Quake and all the others. So it proves that anything was possible on the Amiga. Right now I'm being slaughtered, so I'm going to have to make sure that I get through this in one piece. We have got some pills, unfortunately, some steroids, but our health is decreasing, so we're going to have to watch out for that. Nukem is as much about puzzle solving as it is about shooting enemies, and that can be slightly disorientating sometimes when you want to just go in gung-ho and shoot everybody, because the game will always throw a puzzle towards us. At the moment this seems to be another dead end and I can't see a way forward, and I know if I leave this spot it's not going to help us because everything else behind us in the level has been completed already. So that just means somehow, in some way, there must be some kind of exit from this place that I'm not sure of, and definitely I'm going to have to find it before we can move on. And those higher platforms have now revealed an antechamber, so let's investigate that, and I'm pretty sure now this is the way to go if we can only jump over. No, not quite, so let's try that again. We'll need to take a running jump to jump all the way over.
Come get some.
And that means that opens up the final section of this level. As usual, we're being slaughtered. Let's just get the RPG out and hopefully take care of that enemy. By exploring all of the areas in the game, you'll always find some secrets as well, so if you're struggling for health and ammo, it's best to backtrack and press down on all the corners.
Hail to the king, baby.
In this room it's pretty obvious where the secret lies. And we can now recharge ourselves using that medikit, so that we're now full health. That's the end of the level.
We're gonna fry your ass.
So not only was this game possible on the Amiga, it's definitely playable, and hopefully if you have an 040 you might be able to run this in a very small window. And it looks like right from the start we're being electrified on this level. This is definitely the first and the last time that I'll be seeing this in this review, and so we're now in a storage facility. We've now been captured by the enemy. We've now got no guns whatsoever, so again, just like James Bond, we'll have to figure out what we're supposed to do, and look at that, we can pick up a gun straight away. And now we're going to have to break our way through the base. And using our limited ammo, we're going to have to pick that up as we go along, and also make sure that the headshots count, because we've got limited ammo on this third level. Duke Nukem 3D was not, unfortunately, released officially on the Amiga until these patches came out. I think we actually got a Duke Nukem CD eventually, but needless to say it wasn't reviewed in any magazines, so all the scores boil down to the Lemon Amiga score, which is currently 8.8888% recurring on that Lemon Amiga website. So that's basically 9 out of 10. same engine was reused for Shadow Warrior, which is a very tough game, and I think we've covered Shadow Warrior, or at least played that at some point in our reviews, maybe looking at the PPC game specials, but Shadow Warrior is definitely playable again, and if you have a fast PC or a fast CPU, then at least you can play this at reasonable frame rates. So let's see now, where are we going? We're now shooting our way through the barracks, it looks like, and making sure to collect up that ammo. So just like, I think it's, well, Heretic and maybe Quake as well, we get some stained glass windows, and of course you're going to have to blow those out to get some collectibles behind them. So this pays homage to various id Software games, which we knew as ID. So I can't see anything through that cross, and so I don't know why I'm wasting time trying to fit through that gap. But hopefully, well, let's see now, we can find this hidden area, and that reveals reveals an alien which more or less wipes out my health. Now got through it. I've no idea what that did for us, but we've now got through it. So this is quite a difficult game. You can see we're on virtually no health already, and this is the easiest mode of it. If you end up dying, then it will take you all the way back to the start of the level, and so this is as far as I've got with the game. I've never actually got off this level during my playthroughs, and so I'm not going to get off this level on this player guide either, because I haven't really played the game enough, and I'm not interested in creeping around every single corridor to preserve every single portion of health. Just in case you thought games like the James Bond GoldenEye game could never be ported over onto the Amiga, of course it could. Any Nintendo 3D game on the N64 could be ported onto the Amiga if it has an RTG and a fast CPU. There's no limit to what you can do, so this was possible, and you have to admit that it does a good job of it. Now I'm wondering, look at that, there's a secret button that I never noticed before. I wonder what that secret button does on the roof. Maybe if we press that button it will reveal something. If we can line ourselves up with it. Or maybe we have to shoot it. And double clicking isn't doing much, and I can't actually reach it from here, and now I've just triggered the enemy, I think. Well, something like that. So anyway, there is a hidden button up there, and let's try to get a little bit further than we did last time, and you can just be slaughtered in an instant in this game and not actually know why. Yet again, same spot, same enemy, it's the easy mode, and we can't even get off this dirty level. So this has been my review of Duke Nukem 3D. We're not going to get very much further with it in case you want to play this yourself, so it doesn't contain too many spoilers, but you can see that it is a huge romp where we get to blow away things with a huge vast array of weaponry, and we get to solve puzzles as well, and we get to take a leak in the toilet and wash our hands and watch pornography and things like that. So this game has a lot of charm and a lot of things going for it, I believe, better than Doom. Because with Doom you just go around shooting people, and with this it's got all kinds of things. You can see the textures on the walls, given a good screen resolution, are actually higher. So this did push the frontiers back in the time, and a lowly 4x6 PC could play this, so I'm sure an all 60 Amiga can as well. So thank you for viewing this quick play guide to how to play Duke Nukem 3D, and I'm using a mouse at the moment, I think, and a keyboard combination, and you can see these spinning cogs are a trap, and of course if we get caught in these spinning cogs we're gonna die. So I've no idea where I'm going at the moment, but I just know that I've died. So thanks for viewing this guide, and we'll see you again in another one sometime soon.